extensive new powers, the list of additional mandatory of several forms. Towns are not required to provide this service. There are, of course, many requirements related to the provision of services that differ depending upon whether the service is provided by an incorporated municipality or a town. The decision of whether to provide these services, however, are in most cases all optional in a town. Indeed, land use planning, which is often seen as characteristic power of incorporated municipalities, it is exception of wetlands and shoreline zoning a matter of local choice. Okay. There was something here. Okay. It may be worth noting that the statute provides that the ordinance of the pre-existing town continue in effect in the newly incorporated village until altered by the village. See Wisconsin Statute 66.213, parentheses 2. The village therefore does not need to reestablish its pre-existing ordinances, but may wish to review its ordinances in light of the new circumstances. On Tuesday, February 25th, you requested further clarification. You was me. Clarification regarding the ability of the statutes to a newly incorporated village. Specifically, you have asked for further discussion on whether a newly incorporated village must follow statutes applicable to villages or whether it may be opt-out to continue following statutes applicable to towns. The statutes are quite clear that incorporation of a territory removes the territory from the existing unincorporated town and establishes in the territory a new incorporated municipality. See Wisconsin statutes, they have different numbers, but they also have this number 66.216257 and 9, which the town is using to incorporate. Simply stated, the former town, with respect to the territory incorporated, ceases to exist, and a new municipal corporation comes into being. As such, rules regarding towns do not apply, because in the incorporated area, no town exists. The incorporated territory will become a village and will be governed by applicable provisions of Wisconsin Statute Chapter 61. That was the general one. I got another letter from Anna Henney, Senior Staff Attorney, Wisconsin Legislative Council. It says, Mr. Grams, here's some additional yet specific information from our Legislative Council staff regarding your original inquiry and subsequent follow-up questions. Hi, Chad. This is the gentleman that handled as intermediate when I asked the legislator. You asked whether if a town with a population of 7,000 people incorporated, it would be required to provide police service under section 61.65 statutes. The short order is that a village with a population of 5,000 more must provide police.
Representative, if you could, thank you, step forward and state your name and address for the record. There's a series of items on here. The first five, beginning with the final plat, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, were looked at by the Plan Commission and recommended for approval, subject to conditions, as your packet indicates. And then items 6 and 7 I added there, which is the developer's agreement and letter of credit, just simply because to get them on the agenda, not necessarily for approval in the event you wanted to talk, if we had questions and wanted to talk through it, it was on the agenda properly. So I, probably won't take it, action on those two, but I wanted to make sure they were on there. To tee this up, we do have a deadline. It was noted in your attorney's comments. It's also noted in our planner comments of, I believe it's March 20. The final plat must be acted on. There's no time limits on any of the other items. And the town planner has set forth in detail all of the conditions. So I think, although we don't technically have to act on the final plat tonight, at next meeting we would have to, but it's on the agenda for actions tonight. So we can start with the final plat. And sir, did you say
Paul
your name?
Van Hinkum,
Yeah,
engineer and surveyor for the developer.
Thank you, Paul. So, questions for Mr. Van Hegel. Let's start with the final plat. I know Supervisor Mahalik and Supervisor Milley were at the Plan Commission meeting and went through the final plat. I've got the big paper here too, in case we need to peel out. This is with Plan Commission, we have Sean tee us up, but this is the 30-lot subdivision off of XX on the northwest side of town that we were all familiar with, or should be. To all of the conditions set forth in the planner's report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? And like I say, there's nothing, I mean, you're in agreement with,
We're good.
very good, okay. There's lengthy conditions. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, this clarification is as recommended by the plan commission.
And- right.
Is that for it? Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
right. Okay. Construction and civil plans, including a master grading plan, is next up, and I do believe we approved it. Plan Commission approved it.
Need a recommendation to town board.
Board.
Same conditions. as
Same,
stated.
same conditions as stated in his report.
And that's meet all conditions of the planner, engineer, Jesus.
Yeah, I talked to Sean this morning. Your engineer has not looked at him yet, but everybody else has.
Yeah, they're super small.
So.
Who hasn't looked at yet?
Engineering,
Engineer has not looked at it yet.
Okay.
but they will.
They will.
Right, Paul?
They always do.
They always do.
They always got a comment.
I'll make a motion to approve the master grading plan subject to the conditions listed.
And I'll second that.
Right, do we need a,
I know exactly,
yeah, okay.
clarify it.
As clarified with the Plan Commission. Are there any discussions or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Landscape plan and signage. And as here again, I think it was recommended for approval. There was the vision, the vision corner on the
Yeah, we had
sign.
to show we were gonna be outside the vision corner. We'll modify the plans when, that was one of the comments, we didn't show it, but it will be outside the vision corner.
Right, that was the big thing on the signage, I
That
think.
was the big sign, and sign in the landscape plan.
Right. Otherwise, I think, recommended for approval. Obviously, that's a condition to get it outside the vision corner. And our town engineer will be checking that. Probably DPW too.
Excuse me.
See, I'm not the only one with a cough. Okay, do we have a motion for the landscape plan and signage?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Subject to the conditions
Yes.
Yes.
and the plan commission
Plan,
recommendation.
yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item up is homeowners association documents, articles, incorporation bylaws, and declaration of restrictions. Their plan commission also recommended approval. There was one item that the plan commission raised, or I found, and that was with the deed restrictions and so on, let me step back. That was the land stewardship plan and the ownership of the outlot.
Right.
So that's the next one, sorry.
I think you
But-
brought up the issue about the change of the board on the,
Right, change
Owners.
and
And
the
they call-
ownership of the lot being
and
1/30th
then the
each.
developer thought that was a great, he missed it, so he was glad you caught it, so he changed that.
Oh, that's changed now?
Yes.
Okay. Have we seen changed documents or not
No,
changed?
no, and that's typical because he was just at the plan commission, so that, you will see that.
I know they've been working with John, attorneys too, so the developer's agreement too was,
And Carl, you won't sign the
You'll
final
see that.
plat, and neither will I until you get the sign off from the attorney, the engineers, the planner. It's all part of the
the
process.
part of
chairman,
it.
town board brought up a good point on that the developer had missed about that, so he modified that.
Right, and it's not like the town of Vernon has much to care about a lot of
No,
these,
it-
on these documents, it's
But it-
mostly, but it's for you.
Yeah,
I mean, for your
exactly, that's what he
homeowners,
said.
it's marketing, it's to protect
Well, he
your
just thought,
customers.
I'm glad he caught it, 'cause
Yeah.
they would've missed it, so.
Okay, motion for, to concur with the,
I'll make a motion to approve, consistent with the staff review and recommendations.
and conditions.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there discussion on any of those items? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Land stewardship plan, that's the one we caught. And how did, what is the, I know we talked about the trees and the 100 feet and everything at the plan commission.
Yeah.
How did that turn?
That stays,
Out
that,
internally.
the tree will be every 75 feet, which could guarantee
Okay.
at least one, most likely two. There'd be two on every lot, though.
Okay,
I was looking at that, who makes a determination on the size of the tree?
I think it talks about a caliber of tree in there, and then it's gotta get approved, the site plan gotta get approved when you get your building permit, so Vince or John will look at that, I don't know who looks at the site
I
plan.
mean, 'cause
Somebody look at that,
within-
and they approve that, that's beyond the site plan for the building permit.
Okay. Because they could put a little tiny tree and call it a tree. There's no
Because one
specific-
tree is gonna be probably in the right of way, and one tree will be on the property, but there'll be two trees in the front.
well, close to the right of way, within 20 feet of the right of way,
Within 20
not
feet.
in the right of way.
Right, you don't want any trees.
Is this something special?
I'll take that back. You know, That'll both be the homeowner's tree, so.
Yes,
It'll
the
be close.
homeowner is going to be required, and it's every, I know we had that discussion, every
I know,
75
and-
feet, because the 100 feet didn't work.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, we'll
Right.
be all gone, but I don't think we'll have to deal with that issue back when they gotta be cut down.
Okay, is there a motion to approve, concur with the plan commissions and all the, subject to all the conditions, including the changes made?
I'll make
I
that
make,
motion.
okay. I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then, while you're here, I haven't really had a chance to study this developers agreement, but I know it's off the standard form, and the attorneys are working
Yeah,
on it.
it's on standard form.
Yeah, so, I did see a draft, we're gonna be sending, since we've approved now the first 5, should we send the developers agreement off to the town lawyer to get,
Yeah, I don't think
Review.
we need that tonight, so.
yeah, so we can get going, so you can get going
Yeah,
on
we're
that?
getting- We're moving, we gotta wait for a couple things from the state and the county, and we were happy, we just wanted to get all this paperwork done, so,
Right.
you know.
And the letter of credit, of course, the town engineer, just so everyone knows, the town engineer comes up with a number that should protect the town.
Yeah, we normally give them an estimate and they approve it, so.
Right,
It's just
so-
grading and pavement here, so.
Right, so we don't have that document in front of us, but I wanted
No,
to,
he's gotta approve the plans first before he can.
before he could, right, he's gotta look at the road plans to figure out how much to,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Questions? Why? Mr. Paul's here? No?
The board, they have their attorneys and engineers work that out and bring it to the board in final format, sir?
Yeah, I think so. Both the developers agreement, letter of credit,
Right. It saves a lot of time.
and whatever changes need to be made to these other documents, the
Yes.
one,
We'll make the changes and notify when we change, so you know.
right.
So, you know.
Send over, our red line changed.
You know, when you bring up a good point on these homeowners association, like, I've been around here a long time. Eventually that developer goes away, and even though it's not your problem, they come to the town.
It becomes our
They
problem.
they just do it, it's like, so.
We hear it every day.
I know,
almost.
so.
I know, and it's sometimes,
Everybody says, what are they gonna look at that for? I said, well, you'd be surprised.
yeah, and
You'd be
then they
surprised.
come in and say, well, the town approved it,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's your fault.
Even when the town is on private ground, but, it's just like the trees, when the tree is on, well, it's close to the right of way, it's like that. Who's taking that tree down? It's their tree until it dies, and then it's your tree, so. So, it was nice to, not that everybody likes to go through the process, but it was nice that you guys took a good look at that. I mean, I know the developer appreciated it. See,
Okay.
he's had a lot of interest too, so. He had a lot of interest in.
Okay, you've got people calling for lots and so on, good.
When are the roads gonna start? When would you start?
Well, probably sometime, June, weather breaks, it's, gotta move some dirt, and they gotta prepare we gotta save the septic areas, so we're kind of pre-designing all those, so they'll be located, and in the stormwater and stuff, so it takes a while. But I think normally what they do is they try and get the first lift down this fall and then wait till next year for this final lift, so.
Right, that allows construction equipment from people building their house on
Get
the
some
first
settlements,
lift
you get a better
and
job
get it
that way.
settled too.
Yeah. So. Well, thanks for your time.
Okay,
Any questions? Call. Okay.
that's it, thank you.
Bye, Paul.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Okay, we are on letter B, amendment to LifeQuest medical contract, and also put letter C in their EMS termination notice. And what this is about, becoming our,
Never ending.
yeah. Glad someone else said that.
It's an ongoing situation.
Bank accounts, credit cards. Okay, so, as I understand it, and chime in.
Yeah, we just have to, obviously, that you saw the emails, there's a clarification that we have to make in regards to the ending of one and giving a letter, which I will do after the board directs me to do so, and starting another so we don't have a lapse in the billing. And the forms from LifeQuest will do that. We just have to make sure we have the right date, and then once you give me direction, I'd be more than happy to let EMS Medical Billing know what the final termination date.
Right. EMS Medical Billing is the old vendor. They stopped billing December 12th on the direction of,
Not the town board.
not the town board, because our direction was December 31st.
Right.
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 End of the year.
End of the year.
And nobody,
And so they stopped on December 12th.
What
and the new-
happened?
And
In the meantime,
the new LifeQuest started, well, we want to make sure they started on December 13th, because we can't have even a day, a gap. Otherwise, it's free ambulance rides that day,
yeah,
you know, right?
anytime there was a call between the 13th and the 31st.
Right.
Is it my misunderstanding? Misunderstanding, I thought this was all resolved, the 12th and the 13th, and
so did Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
it's really been that messy.
And you saw the emails saying,
Yeah.
just do this, and you have to understand, you totally understand, all contracts are approved by the town board.
Yes,
There's nothing done unless the town board, and that's why it's before you. Because there was a change, it has to be corrected, and the only one that can do that is the town board.
okay.
Right. We had terminated on December 31st and started the next one January 1st. So no, those dates are changing. Because of what actually happened
They
in,
stopped.
right, in the real world.
So the information, just so you know, has been given to LifeQuest.
Right.
That has been given, but, so now we just have to amend the contract to make sure those dates succinct properly.
So we're looking for a motion to amend the LifeQuest medical contract. I don't know the best way to say that.
Should you bring it to the date specific?
Yeah, to the date specific when their new contract started December 13th of 2019.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion or information needed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, the flip side is to terminate the old one, not as of December 31st, but as of December 13th.
Right.
So we'll look for a motion to
So
amend
moved.
the termination of the EMS contract to December 13th.
I'll make
19
that-
or,
I'll
yeah,
make the motion.
2019.
I'll
Yep.
make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll be second.
Mr. Chairman, would you kindly add the direction of the clerk treasurer to inform?
Yes,
Right.
inform EMS by letter
LifeQuest and whatever.
And, yeah, inform both.
and LifeQuest.
Right, both vendors.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Friendly amendment, okay. Who seconded that?
I didn't get a second. Fred, did you? Okay.
Gary, you made the motion.
Gary
Yeah.
made the motion.
And I second.
Okay, friendly, okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Town of Vernon Incorporation update. Here, try and keep this short too. A couple of things. Again, we did have a public person comment, just to clarify, and we will, of course, I'm sure everybody on the board will be looking at that information presented. What we're trying to incorporate is under section 66.02162. And just to be clear, in order to incorporate, we don't have to meet these police force standards and the other village standards to incorporate. But I think the point was being made that once you're incorporated, then you have some standards as a village and some rights and responsibilities as a village. So that was the point being made. So setting that aside, again, we're under 66 determination on the town of Waukesha and town of Brookfield this coming week. So that's coming. Not that that directly impacts ours, but that's coming. Any other issues? So that's really on the agenda. I wanted to highlight the cooperative boundary agreements. Okay, we are now on to Resolution 2020-06, letter E. And we did, our town clerk did draft a resolution.
Can I, just for clarify, what is a palpable error? I understand the word palpable, okay, but I've never seen it applied to the word error, okay? Does that mean acceptable error?
It's in the state statutes, that's how it's listed
Okay.
statutorily.
So it's an acceptable error?
It's not done intentionally.
No, exactly, yeah.
Unintentional.
Unintentional error. Okay, thank you. When I saw it, I thought, gotta ask.
Mr. Chairman, I did find out from the DOR, Department of Revenue, that we have till October 1st of this year to ask for chargebacks, which it never takes them long. Once the town board directs the payment to be made, it's all sent to the state, and I would guess within 2 months, they go to the school district, Waukesha County, WCTC, and we get all of our money back.
Right, so it's equally, the cost of the refund is equally divided amongst the taxing jurisdictions, as it should be. And apparently, well, you see the resolution and what happened, so, in Cal's letter.
There's no discussion. Can I make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-06?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we're on the letter F, Resolution 2020-07, resolution to establish 2020 fee schedules. We've established our fee schedules, but this is a fee schedule with some amendments. Let's just get to it.
We put the wood chips in there because it wasn't on there. The
Is
wood
that-
chip, that $30 fee wasn't in there.
Wood chip delivery fee.
Yes.
Delivery
Thanks.
fee, which.
Because we've
which the
seen
town-
this before, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and
Yeah. We're just trying to see what the board would like to do about the recreation director's request
Yeah.
in regards to, are you doing anything for multiple children?
Thank you.
He really didn't want to make that call.
Yeah, remember it was on our last board meeting and it was tabled to bring back further information. And I think it was mentioned before that we did have, at one time, I think Supervisor Millie said, there was some discretion, maybe with standards. I mean, our attorney, Macy, says we need to give standards or so that there's some guidance there in his attorney comments. There should be standards so the waiver is granted consistently. And we had a request from our rec director about a family of 4, I think, right? Right, so it's not just for this family. If you have family rates, it'll be for all families over a certain number of children or whatever, or activities or.
And it was brought up that the other municipalities in the surrounding area do not
do not have different fees, or they do not make that allowance?
That is correct. Supervisor Dash, we called at 7 different municipalities, and they don't offer any type of, some municipalities have a scholarship program where a rec director can go to a scholarship fund, but we don't have that at this point.
Right, I suppose there could be a special fund that would help offset costs of.
Sometimes they go to private organizations for help too, but we really didn't, we really didn't know what the board, what your pleasure was in regards to that. So whatever you decide, we can adapt the fee schedule based upon the board's discussion. But Mr. Chairman's correct. I mean, this one particular family has triplets, but we do have families that have multiple children also. So it would be applicable to whatever determination you make, if you make a determination on a price break.
Right.
There's no further action required on this other than to pass this resolution, correct?
Well, the fee schedule itself.
But
I mean,
didn't
is
we
it-
address that at the last meeting, other than for what the clerk had just mentioned?
Well,
Well, Macy's comments kind of,
Say again?
Macy's comments weren't in favor of it.
Yeah.
So the board had asked to, draft a resolution and a fee schedule in anticipation if you made a change. And the only thing we did add is the wood chip delivery charge.
Correct.
Right,
That's
that-
the only change.
Right, that's what we added, then at the bottom of this long schedule, it does note and highlight, non-resident and late fees is applicable at the discretion of the recreation director. I think that's
That's
true
always,
today, and the reason, in his discretion is, if he needs a coach and it's a parent of a non-resident, he'll give him the resident rate to be a
otherwise,
coach.
yeah, otherwise the kids don't play.
Right,
Having said all that, can I make a motion to approve this resolution?
okay, but what about the fee schedule?
We have to deal with this question.
Yeah, once you approve the fee schedule.
Oh, the fee schedule's first,
Fred,
sorry. I
The
thought we did
resolution,
that
it
last.
applies to the fee schedule. So you
Right,
just have to
okay.
make a determination on if you want to do anything about multiple children.
Okay,
And you can do that in general discussion, Fred?
okay,
Or
so,
you say that we're not gonna have any discounts for multiple children and go forward.
Doesn't look
It'd
like
be
it,
the
but it does.
simplest.
Why
No.
should we set a precedent for it? The 7 communities Karen checked on, and none of them do it. We'd have to establish new guidelines and everything in regard to this. That means that we'd have to establish some kind of
Are you
criteria
on your,
for,
I'm sorry.
some kind of criteria for this, for the multiple of
Children.
people in the family. I think I don't know, I'm going to be in favor right now.
well then, should I make a motion to approve this fee schedule? Is that the correct thing to do first? Karen, help me.
Well, once you adopt the resolution, it adopts the fee schedule, but if you like the fee schedule the way it is, then you would make your motion to approve Resolution 2020-7.
I thought that's what I was gonna do.
With-
Okay,
With the fee schedule,
As is.
with,
As-
as in with no, as is, with the extra $30 wood chip change on it.
Right.
Delivery
Right.
change, but no further changes as to recreational fees.
so I'll make a resolution to approve 2020-07, to establish a schedule of fees for 2020 as authorized by the Town of Vernon Municipal Code. Is that a good motion?
I
Good.
understood it, yep.
Thank you.
With the fee schedule addition for wood chip delivery
Yeah.
and with no,
As presented.
yeah, right, with no family, or no changes to the recreational.
And what I'll
fees.
do, Mr. Chairman, is put in your discussion that you did discuss multiple children and how you researched other municipalities. I'll put that in the narrative so people know that you discussed it.
Right. Okay, so now we're just looking for a second?
Now we are looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Now we are looking for further discussion, if any.
Can we take a vote on it?
No, you're out of order.
So no vote.
Do it again and you get gavelled.
Go ahead.
Don't mess with the, oh, see, that's God punishing.
No, you don't mess with the guy with the gavel.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman and board members, I will let the family know, and just so you know, I will give them areas where they can look for assistance within the community. I don't know if that'll help, but at least they can ask.
Thank you.
I apologize for that. I haven't been feeling well.
Appropriately done. Need a
I
little
made it
levity.
this far without coughing. That was my first cough. Letter G, the Janity contract for cleaning. Clerk Treasurer, DPW Director, can you tee us up on that, please?
Once a year, we have the floors stripped and waxed. The bathrooms are deep cleansed, hallways, any area that we have a hard surface. This Jana King came in last year, did an outstanding job. And they also provided information on weekly cleaning also. And I know the town board is in the process of looking at all your contracts as you can, based upon your workload. So you can see that this vendor gave us a price on the cleaning, the washing and the waxing, and the DPW department does all the emptying of all the offices. And then they also gave an offer for our weekly cleaning also, which is much less than we're paying now and double the service.
So you're looking for approval of both proposals or just the proposal for the?
Well, definitely the stripping. I have not had a chance to talk to our current cleaners in regards to, but I would defer to the board. I mean, boy, economically, and you can see exactly what, it's not only the weekly cleaning, it's the deep cleaning, the deeply monthly cleaning also. Like I said, the only urgency is I'd like to lock in is the deep cleaning. And the other one, I can do more research. This is the only vendor I looked at. I honestly haven't, unless you have, John. Yeah, well, we did bid it out last year, and this company came in much lower than all the other commercial cleaners that we looked for. And they did a great job, just a great job. So that one,
How's the price for that compared to last year's?
it's like $3 more.
Okay.
Has this been, how long have we've been using Jani King?
This would be the second year.
Second year. Last year and now this.
Right.
Thank you.
In fact, when they came in at the last minute, we asked them to do the bathrooms because they really need it. And the foyer, yeah.
Great job.
Oh,
Okay.
you wouldn't believe what came up. It was disgusting.
Oh, yeah, no.
So they do, that one, the other one, if you want, I could, look at other services, whatever you would like to do. But I really would like to lock in a date so John knows when, because they do it on a weekend and I just have to coordinate it with all the elections and, but whatever you decide to do, I'll defer to the board.
At the cleaning schedule of what they do per week, looks like it's a pretty thorough cleaning of the facility, even dusting. And I did hear a comment this evening that there's some neglect being done by our current, they're not covering everything that you want to see done, so.
And it's only once every other week.
Yeah.
And no offense to John or the guys, but sometimes weekly cleaning is necessary.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guys are,
Weather, yeah.
they're
Well,
doing hard, dirty work.
It's a workplace,
Yeah.
Right.
They can't wipe off their feet every time they come in the building.
And then the monthly deep cleaning is included in
Yeah.
the weekly.
Okay.
Gary, what were you referring to regarding some criticism, or did I misunderstand?
Some concerns in regard to the current person who's doing the cleaning.
The
That's
person,
being done-
not the company, the
Yeah,
person.
The company, whatever. It's not being done completely,
Well, then help me. I thought Jana King did it all.
No.
Oh, I'm missing a page here then, okay.
We have
Right.
a different person.
We have a
All
different
right.
service.
Right now.
And when he came in to give us a proposal, because I always ask for it in writing, because we always bring it to the board, because it's an agreement / contract for their services. And then quite honestly, he said, would you mind if I gave the board information on, weekly? Well, I mean, that's his right
It's
as a
cheaper.
business owner.
How long is this contract for?
Yeah.
They would like it for 2 years, but they would do a year,
What's your feeling?
whatever. It
Since,
doesn't.
no, your feeling since you work with them.
I have not used them at all.
Right. I
Other
mean,
than
you'd want to
cleaning,
judge
just the
how their
floors,
service
other than-
is,
Yeah,
you know.
that's
Right.
what I-
Just by witnessing what they've done previously, when they came in and did the foyer and the bathrooms, I'm very impressed with them. I mean, they did a great job with the stripping and waxing the floors, pretty professional.
And you wouldn't believe the difference was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's just on the deep cleaning. I can't imagine. They were he had said too that if the board chose to do their weekly service, if at any point there's something that's not done, they'll come back for free, which is,
They should.
I think what they're offering for the price that they're charging for a weekly service compared to what is happening presently, I think this would be a good decision to change to Jana King.
I think so.
And I-
Or
I'm
would you
just
like
look-
to look further? No?
No.
Yeah.
Do you
And
want to
I,
have them come in and do it one time, just to make sure? They'll probably do that before we sign anything.
oh, you mean do a freebie?
No. Well, we'll pay for that. We'll pay for it, but to try them out
Oh,
once.
that would be a good idea.
Most cleaning companies do.
yeah.
Yeah, the first one's really good to.
Yeah, but that's,
But they set the bar,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they set the standard then.
then they set the standard.
Yeah.
If we go with the 2-year, I'm quickly going through here. What is there anything on the cancellation of it within that 2 years?
right, and Mr. Chairman and board members, there is no rush on that. My rush at this point is just to get the that one done. And then, if you'd want, I could talk to that vendor about, coming in once to do so the board could take a look at their work.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pay
Right,
the weekly rate.
right, because there's every other week that we
Just to
don't have
see.
any cleaning.
Yeah, you could come in,
They would come in once a week,
Every week,
because we're only getting it bi-weekly now.
right.
Oh,
'Cause
we may have to step up that
Less
considering what's coming out of the health department.
the,
It's good timing here to start it
Right.
soon.
Start it weekly.
I have to agree with that.
I'm just looking here on the termination. It's 30 days prior to the scheduled expiration date.
Right.
Is for cancellation. So if we go with the 2-year, okay, which I would be, that we're stuck for virtually 2 years.
Right, that's-
Unless that paragraph could be changed.
That's something I could talk to him about.
Could you?
Because, yes, like I said, I'll ask what their flexibility is, and I'll ask about, I get more information on that proportion of, but like I said, the only urgency would be just locking in a date.
Oh, yeah, no.
And we could bring it back next board meeting instead of, spending a lot of time. I'll get some clarification and bring it back next board
And
meeting.
then also on the termination, if
Right.
something could be done, 90 days notice, or I don't
Right.
care.
We'll have it all spiffy clean for elections then.
Yeah.
When are the polishing after election day?
Well, that's why I'd like it after April.
So that,
Right, but I don't know if
Stuff
I'll
out
have
here.
another election in between. Hopefully,
Right.
we will have another election.
Right.
So
so
just, if you don't mind, I'll just get some clarification and bring it back. Does that sound good?
Sounds like a
everybody's
plan.
okay? Good,
Yep.
okay,
Okay.
we're
So
in
you-
consensus of that.
Need a motion to sign the contract for cleaning, stripping the floors?
Stripping floors, you want to do that
That
tonight
would be
yet?
great. That's the only urgency.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'll make that motion,
Now let's get going on that.
Yeah.
get the
I'll
floors
make the
done.
chair.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries
Thank
on
you,
the,
board members.
on the
Yay.
scrubbing, and then the weekly cleaning, you're coming back.
Yes, with more information for the board.
Okay,
Does that sound good?
that sounds good. Okay, moving along here, H, information technology and computer security update. That is on here because we're going into closed session for the public, just for the public to know it is computer security that we're going to be discussing,
Okay.
as opposed to some other crime in the,
Yes.
this is crime prevention, the crime is hacking and
I'm sorry, say the last part. The crime is,
The crime is computer-related, IT-related.
Got it.
Crimes like hacking
Yeah.
into our systems and so on.
right.
Using my chairman email to send out emails, things like that.
You know, there are I'll do that, I'll add it to my notes.
Well, that's why we don't have Channel 25 broadcasting all the time.
Oh, there's a big security.
There's a
breach
security
inspector.
hole in that.
Oh, you're kidding. No, that's why we can't broadcast.
That's why
it.
no municipalities, the school district used to,
Oh,
school
no, I didn't
district,
know that.
the city of Muskegon.
Maybe Ron can explain that to everybody.
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay. Correspondence, announcements, and reports. So we'll go with town board reports. We'll start with Supervisor Dashick. We'll go to reverse way down the line.
Oh, we gotta go.
Oh, now she's gonna say I'm not ready.
Then we gotta go
No,
forward to.
no, I am ready. I did receive an email, as I believe everyone did, a concerned resident over the franchise fees. And I think that in light of that, if she brought up some good issues, I think we should put that on the next agenda to discuss it.
I will note that for the record.
Okay, thank you. It's noted. So the agenda 3, March 19th. Any other report?
No,
Supervisor Dashick, are you going to make that person aware that it's going to be on the agenda?
I can do that.
Okay, that would be good.
Just a few-
Supervisor Mahalik.
Just a few things. I still continue to get, have conversations with town of Vernon residents regarding the incorporation. And once again, as I reported at the last town board meeting, after I've had a chance to explain it to them and they understand what it is that's going on, they are looking forward to the vote when that time comes. Also, the bridge on ES, it's the one around Heaven City and Hidden Lakes. There are things that are in the mill right now with the county, and no decision has been made regarding how that's going to be handled. Something just came up here late in the meeting about mailings to different organizations and stuff. There are bogus mailings that are going out there under the signature, and it could come out under the signature of the town chair of people who are running organizations saying that so-and-so is authorized to do this, or so-and-so needs this from you in order to do that. So I just want to notice the residents, or alert the residents, that be careful what you read. Very important as to what you open up on your computers, no matter how inviting it is. And if it's a firm that you do business with, don't be bashful to call the firm and say, did you just send me an email? Because what people can do with graphics today can make it look real close. And then the other one, the coronavirus, all I'll encourage everybody is to make sure you wash your hands and cover your sneezes and put barriers between yourself and somebody else, and if they do it to you, don't be offended. Thank you.
Supervisor Wiley. Thank you, Supervisor.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, Supervisor Millies.
I don't have anything either at this time.
Okay. As far as the chairman's report, I did receive a call, and I do believe, will place this on our agenda. This is on the bridge redecking project on ES. I think it's time. I think those bids have been opened. I haven't seen the actual numbers. I've just seen a report of the numbers. We should probably get that on our March 19th agenda to discuss how, the price differential, timing, detour route, I think. If we can get some information to provide. I did get a call, like I said, from the Village of McWanago president, and what they are looking at is, to the extent there is a price difference, an increase in price to keep one lane open, that he was looking to get a consortium of municipalities to help kick in to cover that. So, it's not on the agenda tonight, but it will be in 2 weeks, and we can talk about it then.
It's only 2 months.
But I just wanted to raise it just so, the public knew that project was coming along. The bids are open, right, John? Do you know?
was at a Public Works meeting yesterday with some of the county guys, and I asked some of those guys, and as of yesterday, they didn't know anything yet.
Okay,
I mean, said they will have to contact Kevin Yanni and,
hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
yeah,
We can get a hold of
So-
Kevin and get a report.
right. I think you'd
Okay.
have to go right to him, because the guy's actually from the county, when I talked to him yesterday, as of right now, they're out of the loop yet, so
Right.
what the decision is
Right.
gonna be, you know,
Right.
so.
Okay,
What they hear in 2 weeks, just to clarify what he said, does that mean in 2 weeks they'll have a decision as to what's gonna happen, or just have numbers?
I have a lot of information.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, no,
let's,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'll pass.
Okay. And then, as mentioned, kind of in passing, I was just notified that at least one person received an email using my town email address that was spam, bogus. So, so the public knows, I don't typically send emails due to the open records rules. And so it's likely bogus.
So all your emails are bogus.
Well, those from the town address pretty much are.
I'm gonna file that away.
Carl, can that be tracked back to see who did that?
Well,
Very difficult.
very difficult.
You're gonna ask, that's a good question to ask Ron.
Yeah, can we backtrack?
Right.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
unfortunately, it
apples.
happens. We have public email addresses. It's easy to do,
Yeah.
from what I understand. Unfortunately. So that was my report. You heard the report on the border agreements, the cooperative plans. So that's all I had. DPW Director John.
Yeah, we've been actually pretty busy the last couple of weeks here without snow. Finally, kind of giving us a little leeway here to get the other things done. We've been tree trimming up on the River Oaks area, getting that ready for some paving project this coming summer. Culvert replacements, ditching and whatnot. So pretty busy up there. Tree trimming and stump grinding. We took delivery of all our salt. We got all 1,300 tons in as of Tuesday. We received all of that, so I wanted to get that in there before we put the weight limits on, which we put the signs up today, effective Monday. All the corresponding, or surrounding communities are pretty much on the same page with starting on Monday. Like Quantico, I know, Waterford, Big Bend's already got theirs up, East Troy, town of Waukesha. So everybody's kind of working together. Hopefully the timing, keep it together. I'm thinking maybe a week, 2 weeks. There's not much frost in the ground, so already getting calls from the contractors for builders and stuff. But that happens every year. So we did get a chance to get some infield mix on these ball fields down here before the ground actually thawed out enough that we couldn't get out there. So we got 2 loads of infield mix on those ball diamonds while the ground was somewhat frozen. Andy was gonna send a letter over to Payne and Dolan. Still, he has not done that, to awarding them that bid for the paving project, because I wanted to get a hold of Dominic from there and get on his schedule and find out, kind of see what we can do for scheduling for that. So as of yesterday, he says, he was working on it, pretty busy, so he didn't get that letter over there yet, so. For the February, we only had 3 events, and, like I said, I'm at like 23 snow events for the year. Last year, we had 36 total, so we're down a little bit. I mean, we have another month to go yet, but, the way it's looking, I think it's gonna be pretty mild here, so.
Is that 23 counting December? or just-
Yes, everything for the season, correct. So, Valley Storm and all that stuff, so. I'm actually gonna line up, probably tomorrow, go pick up some of that mastic and line up renting that, mastic, machine again. Hopefully in the next week or 2, if the weather stays the way it's going to. I'd like to get on the roads and start, getting a little more of that done. So between that and the crack filling, we're gonna be busy for the next, month and a half till brush pickup here, so.
John, could I actually ask you to expand on the controlled burn that took place in the Vernon Marsh for people to hear?
That was the DNR.
But if you could explain it so people understand. I got a call on it.
Yearly, the DNR will burn off the old vegetation, And they try to do it early enough before the wildlife, like birds and whatnot, will have eggs or nests or whatnot. So I think they're trying to get it as early as they could, but they definitely had a pretty good blaze going there. And, we had a lot of phone calls. And
It was a windy day for
I thought it was a little windy myself.
16-mile-an-hour winds,
I think
yeah.
they were trying to take advantage of this. There was still snow on the ground, but
That's true.
I think that was the reason there.
moves faster.
I think it seemed a little bit early this year, but I think that was the reasoning. I think to get ahead of the wildlife and stuff like that, so from what I hear, so,
Did they give the town a heads up that they were gonna do it?
no. I actually called the fire department, Tyler, one of our guys were out, and they said, hey, something's going on up there. So I called the fire department, and they're the ones that told me, so at least the fire department knew about it. They didn't,
They never
Notified
they never
us, so-
seem to notify the
Well, it would be
towns.
nice if we had notification that
Yeah.
it could be put up on the website.
Yeah,
well, and I think, a lot of that is kind of last minute stuff, they might plan it, but weather permitting, like winds and stuff, maybe they might have to cancel last minute too.
I get it, but they can tell us last minute they're gonna burn today.
It would have been nice, yeah.
I'm sorry, John, who did that again? Waukesha County?
The DNR.
The DNR. All right.
they do it periodically.
Would it be inappropriate for you to send a letter to the DNR that our town board requests that if they can remember to notify us?
I could I got Craig Webster, he's one of the DNR agents, I can call him once.
Because it would allay a lot of concerns for a lot of people.
Well, a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have somebody that's interested in our wood chip pile if we cannot get rid of it. He would come in and regrind it and then add some coloring and take the wood chips, but, so it's an option if we decide that we, I need to get rid of this pile before we do a brush pickup. So if I'm not gonna get rid of these before, I don't know if that's something that the town would entertain or not. I'm gonna work them over a little bit and see if we can get a little something out of it, cause he's gonna take them wood chips and probably resell them, but.
How much is back there yet, John?
Oh, we got quite a bit back there.
Yeah?
I don't know how many yards, but there's gotta be 50 loads back there yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pretty good pile back there yet.
I think if we got the proper
Free pickup.
insurance,
Well, it is free pickup, right, but I just,
Right.
I'd just like to see if people want them, come and get them.
if we got the proper insurance and/or would be liability, coverage from them, waiver, I see no problem doing it. It would be
Right.
great.
Either that or I was gonna call and have them hauled away at some point. Anyhow, there is companies that'll come and get them. They use them for incinerators or burning, like
Okay,
power plants and stuff like that. They'll mix it in with fuel. But,
make the call.
yeah. So that's
That's
about
your
it.
report?
Yep.
Thank you, John. Clerk Treasurer report.
I did speak to Kevin Yanni for about 45 minutes on Wednesday about the bridge project and because I did forward a couple emails on to him that you saw also. He's going to be sending you a detailed letter from the county. They only had one bidder last year. It was $125,000 over budget. They only had one bidder again this year, and it's $150,000 over budget. He's in the process right now of writing a resolution for the Waukesha County Board to approve that project has to be done this year. They're in the process. He did indicate that the DPW director, Allison is not in any position to keep that bridge open while they're redecking. It's just financially, that's the $150,000 is the cost overrun with the bridge closed for the 2 months. And Mr. Yanning is going to be putting a detailed information together for you so that you can discuss it at the next board meeting. I did ask him also, and they are going to have a meeting with elected officials, EMS, police protection, the county. I have a collaborative meeting to discuss some of the issues, but they don't, the email that the chairman was speaking of, they don't have enough money to even do the project, let alone kick in the other $70,000 to keep one lane open for another extended 2 months. So Kevin indicated that he's going to be sending a detailed email to the town board, so when you discuss it on the board, but it doesn't look very promising with that $150,000 budget deficit for that project also. Want the residents to know that we do have the information on the referendum the constitutional referendum that's on the ballot on April 7th. That's on the website for a full explanation. Also on the website, in this election, you're going to see a term for the Republican or Democratic Party. It's called an uninstructed delegate. And I do have that information on the website. That's very informative. I would stress the residents read what that means so that when they're going to vote, when you're in an election, election inspectors cannot explain things. So please look at the website for an explanation of what that is. Also, absentee ballots should be in on March 16th. As soon as we get the ballots in Vernon, we start our election, our absentee ballots right away, and the applications that are coming in are very, very strong for absentee. I mean, we have a lot to begin with, but they're coming in at least 5 and 6 a day. So anybody that wants to absentee vote, please call or email. If we have your driver's license, which is locked in the safe, all you have to do is send an email. You don't have to fill out the form. That's all I need for documentation, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Karen, you used a term about the 150,000. Is that, I can't remember what the word that you used, but is that $150,000 over what the original cost was, or?
Right, just like when we bid a road project, we
Yes.
bid a road project, and we have an estimate of what, when you do the bid specs, you
Sure.
have an estimate of what you anticipate that project's going to cost based on your engineering, the cost of the, and the county does a really good job on that, on those, and they said it was way over budget last year, and it's even worse this year. And they can't get anybody to bid on it because it's a small project, it's not a lot of money, and they just can't invest. If the county does want to replace that bridge with federal funding, which will change the whole dynamics of that bridge, but the cost, they're estimating it's gonna take 15 to 20 years to get the federal funding to build a whole new bridge.
Okay, but to go back, the $150,000 is over what the actual costs are.
Right, what they anticipated.
Wow.
So,
Do you have any idea what the original cost was?
No, I don't. In fact, Kevin, like I said, Kevin, I asked him for a copy of the resolution because that should typically tell you what the issue is. But I didn't ask him what the specifics were, but he said it's definitely $150,000 over budget, over what they anticipated the cost was.
The reason I'm spending so much time on it, I got a number of residents that have asked about it and called me about it, and I said I don't have much information at this point, so.
And Mr. Yawning said he is going to supply the board with detailed information.
Thank you.
And that way, we'll put it on the website also, but when you talk about it in detail, the next board meeting, at least you'll have the most current information that you possibly can have.
Right, so let's put it on, we'll put it on next agenda to discuss it in detail. There's no sense in just, you know. Right, we'll have a lot more information, as opposed to speculating.
In charge of putting up the detour signs.
County,
County?
the detour, I think, is gonna be down the freeway.
That's what they're gonna, yeah.
Right.
Be on the freeway.
On the freeway. Okay. Reports are done. Finances, accounts payable. Karen, the one question I had on accounts payable is Assessment Technologies LLC. Could you just, I meant to ask you.
The company that does our market drive, they have all the computer software that our assessor uses that goes, you know, when appraisers are looking for assessment information. It also has the computer calculations of all the properties in the town of Vernon. So it's like software for assessments. And we pay that every year. I think almost every municipality in Waukesha County and beyond has that software.
Okay.
For the accounts payable, are we looking at batch number 202-00305?
That is correct.
Is that is? I have a question before I reviewed it at home. My wife is in here as an election worker. Should I abstain from this vote since I'm in effect approving paying her to be a worker?
I would, if I were you.
Abstain?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just so there's, not that there would be any, because she actually earned that money, but just to protect yourself.
Thank you. At least I read what you send.
I'll make a motion to approve batch what number is that? 202-003-05, the amount of $27,581.29.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
And one abstention. Motion carries. Manual checks?
There are none, sir?
No manual checks. December 2019 financials are in your packet.
And board members, I just want to make you aware, I delayed giving you those financials because because of feedback from some of the other departments. And I just want to let you know that it is going to change because I have not had, I really would like to sit down with some of the different departments and go over line by line before Howard comes. So please keep this information because what I'd like to do is meet with them individually and then give you another financial statement before Howard comes. Because once Howard gets here, he starts making even more changes.
So we should dispose of this then?
No,
or-
I want you to keep it
Keep 'em,
because
that's
I
what I
want
thought
you
you
to
said.
see the difference of what you're seeing at this meeting.
I got it.
What you're
Thank you.
going to see before Howard comes and what you're going to see after Howard comes.
Thank you.
And if you lose it, it's in your packet.
And you go to your computer.
Should we go to town board minutes, February 20, 2020? Oh, yeah, the minutes.
Okay,
It's just that change
okay,
that you made, I think.
yep. I just,
I have, in looking at those minutes, I thought I made the comment before, and maybe it was just a different document, but on page 3, Roman, or II, the cooperative boundary agreements with Waukesha, McWanago, and Waterford, I believe that towns of Waukesha, McWanago, and Waterford should be in there.
Okay, I see it.
Say again?
I see it.
Okay.
I see where you wanted it inserted.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the minutes
Having said that, I'll make a motion to approve
with that one change?
with that, yes, with that one change, thank
Is there
you.
a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain. I was absent.
One abstention. Supervisor Wiley because he wasn't present. Next town meeting dates at the Vernon Town Hall, I'll read them. Town board meetings, March 19th, and then our regular April meetings, April 2nd and 16th, at 6:30 PM. We have a joint town board and plan commission meeting March 11, that's next week, Wednesday, 6:30 PM. And our annual town meeting is coming up April 21 at 7 PM. Item 11 would be public comments. There is no public in the audience. Item 12, a motion to go into closed session. I'll read it, and I will make the motion after I read it. The town board may convene to the closed session under state statutes 19.85 1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, more specifically, the summons and complaint on vicious animal on Sunset View Drive and Wisconsin statute 19.85 1D to consider strategies for crime detection or prevention for the town of Vernon facilities. Included in closed session will be the Vernon Town Board of Supervisors, town clerk, treasurer, IT consultant, and town attorney by phone. I'll make the motion to go into closed session. It will require a roll call vote. Is there a second?
Second.
I made the motion. Supervisor Mahalik seconded.
Got it. Chairman Carl Fortner.
Yes.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Yes.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Yes.
Supervisor Fred Mahalik.
Yes.
Supervisor Lorraine Dashik.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, note for record that your town board has unanimously approved to go into closed session by voice vote. I will note that for the record.
Thank you, and we will take a short 5-minute break. And if not, we will either adjourn in closed session or reconvene in open session should we need to take any action. So 5 minutes, we'll start up on that clock, 5 minutes to 8.